Hello, so this lesson will be working on adding and subtracting of mixed numbers. So instead of fractions, last lesson we did fractions, we're going to add a whole part to it, mixed number. So it's a whole number plus a fraction, and then we're going to add and subtract these numbers together. So let's go ahead and get started straight away with an example. We're going to start with example A, where we have 4 and 5 over 6, and we want to add 3 and 3/4. Okay, so we have two mixed numbers that we're going to add to each other. And the first thing you would notice is that these two fractions are of different denominators. So eventually we're going to have to change the denominators. So I'm going to show you a way of doing it. Now, there are multiple ways of doing these mixed numbers. I'm just going to show you one of them that I am most comfortable with, and I want to show you how you can do it as well. So uh, all of these fractions, 4 and 5 over 6 is a mixed number. It is essentially the same as 4 plus 5 over 6. That is the same fraction, okay, but I've just split it into its whole number part and to its fraction part. And then 3 over 4 is the same as 3 plus 3 over 4. Okay, so 4 and 5 over 6 is the same as 4 plus 5 over 6, and 3 and 3/4 is the same as 3 plus 3/4. Now, when I've split it this way, they are all add. I can change the orders however I want. So what I would want to do is I would want to put the whole numbers together. So that's 4 plus 3. And then I want to put the fractions together. So 5 over 6 plus 3 over 4. Now the next thing is because they are different denominators, we want to find the least common denominator so that we can change both fractions into the same denominator so that we can add to each other. And that just happens to be 12. So multiply top and bottom by 2 for this one, and multiply top and bottom by 3 for the other one. And so our next line, I'm going to go ahead and add these two first. So that's 4 plus 3 is 7. And then 5 times 2 is 10 over 12. 3 times 3 is 9 over 12. And so now we can add together. That becomes 7 plus 10 plus 9 is 19 over 12. Now 19 over 12 is an improper fraction, so we'll need to convert that into a mixed number. And so that happens to be 7 plus, and then that's 1 and 7 over 12. 1 plus 7, whole number plus whole number. Then you can just add together. That is 8 and 7 over 12. So that's how you add two mixed numbers together. So yes, there are quite a few steps, but it's not hard to do. Okay. Now, second example, I'm going to do a subtracting one. So let's go ahead and do this example. I have 6 and 1 over 6, subtract 3 and 2 over 3. Okay, so I'm going to use the same method as before. Uh, so I can split it into, but I'm going to add brackets this time. Okay, and then later you will see why I add brackets. Now I'm going to add a bracket in front of each fraction on its own. So essentially 6 and 1 over 6 is the same as 6 plus 1 over 6. I'm just separating the fraction into its by itself. But 6 plus 1 over 6 is the same as 6 and 1 6. Okay, I didn't change anything. And then we would subtract, and then we would open bracket, and then 3 and 2/3, we're going to split it into 3 plus 2/3. And then let's close the bracket. Now, the reason why I put brackets is because when I have a minus in front, the minus refers to both the 3 and the 2 over 3. So actually, it's going to be minus 3. When I open the bracket later on, it's going to be minus 3 minus 2 over 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and open those brackets. That is the same as 6 plus 1 over 6 minus 3 minus 2 over 3. Okay, so they're both minuses. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch the orders. This is minus 3. I can do whole number minus whole number. That is the same as 6 minus 3. And then I have the fraction part. This is plus 1 over 6, so I'm going to put plus 1 over 6. And then minus 2 over 3 over here. And so 6 over 3 is the same as 3. Then I have 1 over 6 minus 2 over 3. I need to change the bottom to become 6. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So now this will be plus 1 over 6 minus 4 over 6. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. So yes, some integers are going to come into play. You're going to have to go into negative numbers. 1 6 minus 4 6 will be minus negative 3 6. So it is going to be 3 minus 3 over 6, which sort of simplifies into half. 3 minus half is the same as 2 and a half. So this is one way of doing it. Now, if you find this a little bit complicated, there is another way to do it. So let me go ahead and rewrite this question over here. We have 6 and 1 over 6 minus 3 and 2 over 3. Now, what I would do first is I would change the denominator straight away. Okay, I'm going to change it into equal to 6 and 1 over 6 minus 3 and 4 over 6. Now, the second thing is I'm going to look at my numerator. 1 over 6 minus 4 over 6. Can I subtract it? No, because it's going to go negative. And I don't want to deal with negative numbers. So instead, I'm actually going to borrow a whole number from the 6 into the numerator. So the 6, I'm going to reduce the 6 into by 1. And that 1, I'm going to add it into the fraction. And 1 plus 1 over 6 is the same as 7 over 6. So I can rewrite my mixed number as equal to 5 and 7 over 6, subtract 3 and 4 over 6. Now I have enough to subtract. 7 minus 4 is doable. So I'm going to do whole number minus whole number. So 5 minus 3 is 2. And then 7 minus 4 is just 3. And so that we have 3 over 6. And so in the end, we still have 2 and a half. Now, whichever way you prefer, some people can prefer to use the method on the left, some people prefer to use the method on the right. Whichever way is comfortable to you, you can choose that method. Okay, I'm not going to force you to use whatever method. You choose whichever one you prefer. Now, I do have a little bit more time to do one more example. And so this time, let's say that I had 3 and 3/4, and I wanted to add 2.3. Okay, sorry, 2.4. Okay, now I have a mixed number and I have a fraction together. How can I add these two together? First of all, step one is I need to change this change decimal into a fraction, because I cannot just add them together. It just doesn't make sense. I cannot add a mixed number or I cannot add a fraction to a decimal. So I need to change the decimal into a fraction. So 2.4 is the same as, I'm going to write my next line, 3 and 3/4 plus 2 and 4 over 10. Because 0.4 is the same as 4 over 10, I can simplify that to 2 over 5. Okay. And now I have 3 and 3/4 plus 2 and 2/5. And so we can go ahead and change my denominators. Now I can still use the second method of the subtraction with the adding of mixed numbers too. If you would like to do that, that is totally fine. So I would show you. I need to multiply top and bottom by 5 for 3/4, and I need to multiply top and bottom by 4 for 2/5. And so the fractions for the mixed numbers will become 3 and 15 over 20 plus 2, and 2 times 4 is 8 over 20. So whole number plus whole number, 3 plus 2 is 5, and then 15 plus 8 is 23 over 20. Now it went above, okay? 23 over 20 is an improper fraction, so we need to reduce it by 20. So if we reduce the improper fraction into 3 over 20, we have a whole number coming out. So that is the same as 6 and 3 over 20. Okay, so that is it for today. Your homework will be exercise 5.2, questions 12 to 32, even questions, and then question 40, 42, 44, 53, and 56. Let me make the font a little bit bigger so that you guys can see a little bit clearly. Okay, there it is. That's the homework. And I will see you all next lesson. Goodbye.